1.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the LoveZone. You never would guess what we got here again, here in the LoveZone studios, right here in the heart of the Atlantic City area. This is Michael LoveJoi. We have the poet Laureate from Atlantic City once again, the great Mahdi Salaam, who's going to give us a report on what he saw, what he heard, and what he experienced while in Baltimore. We also have on the panel at the same time the Urban Entrepreneur, the one, the only, Daryl Scott, going to give us some insight on how we can benefit from this brutal unrest that took place down in Baltimore recently. So, stay smooth, stay cool, stay where you are. I'll see you in 2.
1.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Look who we have here in the LoveZone at the TTS Soul Studios once again. We have the Urban Entrepreneur, Mr. Daryl Scott, and we have the Poet Laureate, Mr. Mahdi Salaam, here to be on the panel here at the TTS Soul Studios once again. Brother Salaam, thank you for coming out today.
Yes, sir.
And Brother Scott, thank you for coming out today.
Thank you very much.
All right, brothers, we got a lot to get to. We got a lot to talk about. And once again, we got the information for you right here at TTS Soul Studios. Brother Salaam, tell me, what did you see? What did you hear? And what did you feel when you went to Baltimore?
I believe Baltimore, as well as I believe Atlantic City, New Jersey. I believe New York. I believe Ferguson. And the bleeding part is what really bothers me. If we are a body of people, and this is the land of the free, why are we talking about bleeding? That's a problem with me. The land of the free, United States of America, how can this be? And we're discussing what is protesting and what is not protesting. How did we get to this point? And we call us the land of the free. This is the point where we should not be. Baltimore, to me, was a perfect example of what's going on in this country. People are crying out. The land itself is not comfortable with the name itself, the United States. The land of the free. That's hypocritical to me. The land is speaking out. The land is speaking this hypocritical, all this drama going on. So to me, that's what I'm seeing. To me, this hypocritical country that we live in, it needs to get better with her name, United States of America. She needs to get better with the land of the free. And all this going on right here, this is what's happening to me. This is what's going on. The land is not.
Well, you know, the theme song, that we were growing up with, the home of the free, the land of the free, and my tis of thee. But did you see freedom in the streets of Baltimore?
Oh yeah, we represented freedom. That's what that gathering was. To show that we may not be where we want to be, but we are free to a certain degree. Okay? You may have your foot in our necks, but you don't have it the way you used to be. It's not like it used to be. There's still work to be done.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The pressure is still there.
Wonderful. Now, over to my good friend, Mr. Daryl Scott, the Urban Entrepreneur.
Yes,
Let me ask you this now. On the other end, I know he passionately, he's an artist.
Yes.
And he's a poet laureate, so he's going to give that in passion, please.
Yes, sir.
But numbers don't lie, and they're kind of dry. They say the accounting field is dry. Can you tell the economic impact of what happened in Baltimore?
Well, from the solution end, from the economic solution end, there's a lot of ways you can approach this. And one of the ways that I've been evaluating it is that you have to use your economic power. We spent almost $1.4 trillion in 2013 in consumption. I feel that could best serve our community if we start building a stronger infrastructure. Our own supermarkets, our own gas stations, our own hotels, our own hospitals. The missing link is that we are consuming with other people who don't respect us. Whether it's your Fortune 500 companies, or it's that Borgata on the corner that the Koreans own, or other ethnic groups own, and there's no respect for our dollar.
Well, understandably, sir, you know, I used to live in Baltimore for a short period of time, and, you know, they have bodegas and stores and corner stores, but everyone is behind bulletproof glass.
Yes,
Is that respect? That's not respect. Would you consider that respect?
that's imagery that portrays all black people as criminals and thugs. And what happens is that imagery has transcended into these immigrants that make them feel that all they need to do is get our dollars and not respect us. And we have to change that dynamic by building our own infrastructure.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. I agree with that 100%. Now, Brother Mike, you were down in Baltimore on a goodwill mission. And what was the vibe? What was the vibe with the young people who was carrying the thrust of this unrest, or what the mainstream media is calling the rebellion in Baltimore? What was the thrust? What was the spirit?
The young people was feeling what I was feeling at a young age when I was 7 years old, when they killed Martin Luther King and all this racial tension. The young people was feeling that same tension, generation after generation, and as the young people's generation, they going through the same phase. How are we still at this same phase and we call this the United States of America? Why is it another generation going through this same pain of this racial tension? Now we have another generation of youth crying out, you know, and that's the sad part about it. We're at another generation of youth crying out. It was a youth generation before them. This is ongoing.
So it's a culmination of the frustration being passed down generationally. Is that what you said?
That's what I'm saying. I'm actually trying to explain, and as I'm explaining the solution too. If we fight for our human rights, that would be civil. To give someone their human rights, that would make them a citizen and make it civil. That would make them human. If we fight our human rights, if we don't fight our human rights, we up against, well, they black, that's none of my business. They white, that's none of my business. They yellow, that's none of my business. So we rumble for our human rights, that would be giving us our civil rights. Once we start rumbling human rights, now everyone is accountable. Regardless, whatever ethnic group you come in, whatever color you are, you're accountable. And that's what's wrong with the United States of America. A lot of people don't feel as though they're accountable. It's not happening to them. This is the United States problem. This collectively, this is the state. The states must get better. We must get, in every city, county, and state, there's a different law, different magistrate, this same hate. With no reservation, generation after generation after generation of youth is dealing with this penetration of hate, this problem with this race issue, generation after generation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, the race issue is something that certainly hasn't gone away, and it doesn't appear that it's going to go away now. Daryl, ever since I've known you, you've always been an economic advisor.
Yes.
Now, economically, how can we turn this and flip this to benefit us? Seeing what has happened in Ferguson, what has happened in Atlanta, what is happening here in Chicago, what is happening in Atlantic City. How can we turn this economically to benefit us?
That's an excellent question, and what makes it so easy for me to answer is that the money aspect is not a problem. We have the money, we have people that are qualified to put a commission together with a blueprint for economic development. The major issue, what I find, is that we don't seem to want to be able to pool our resources. We have a problem of who's going to be in charge, who's going to hold the money, and how we're going to go about this. That's a major issue. But having qualified people and having the money is not an issue. How can we work together and do this in a format where everybody can see some progression? That's the issue.
So you're saying that
How can we pool our resources and work together?
And may I say something? Your resources is so important.
Yes.
We must put that black dollar back in our community. And what is that black dollar? That black dollar is the dollar you make where you live at.
Yes.
We must spend with one another, pull our resources together, just like you said. But I have a solution in this ghetto report, y'all. I'm not really a speaker. This man here is giving you some this amazing, he's giving you the answer sheet, so to speak.
Well, if you don't mind, sir, could you give us a skill report?
Well, let me say the solution is as such.
And keep it brief, brother, because I know you can get long.
Yes. Stop the violence. Stop the drugs. Stop the gangsters. Stop the thugs. That's where my life was. So I pulled out my prayer rugs. Now you pull out your earplugs and listen. Don't cause destruction by your own hands. You're where you're at because of your plans. Some may understand that this is all a test and some won't. If I gave some the answer sheet, would they still flunk? Our struggle, our brain we must use to get out. It's pain, so we weep out. Some are scared to look, so they just peep out. Some have mental illness, so they can't speak out. Some are scared to hit it, so they might freak out. It's time to stand and not just speak out. Will the last man stand and hold down the fort? Will the last man stand and give the ghetto report? Will the last man stand with dignity and grace? Will the last man stand with a smile upon his face? It's hard to be a man when you're dealt a hand like this. When the drum is astronomical, and it really makes me piss. But I'd rather be a man and commit to solving this than be a coward and allow it to act like it don't exist. Why do they hate the black man's anatomy? Destroy his mind, body, and soul is your strategy. Black on black, killing like it's a fantasy. Instead of giving him an Academy Award, you hit him in the head with a two-headed sword and hope that he denounces Lord and praise you become a jigaboo. Run, jump, and skip, and go through the hood, help contaminate it. To the black man, your anatomy is a catastrophe if your mind is not equal, and that is the sequel. And the point I'm trying to make, your muscles become soft and start to deflate. You need a strong mind to counteract the hate. And to my black sisters, this is an attempt to make you smile. You have lost your fathers, your sons, your brothers, your uncles, your nephews for a real long while. And since you opened all my senses, you're high profile. All I see is beauty, the sight that pleases me. All I smell is roses and lots of daisies. All I feel is your touch that makes me laugh. Your massage is like mirages, and I love your bubble bath. All I hear is the ingenious poet, the ingenious poet, the ingenious poet Lee. You revive me, you surprise me, you're what this country needs. Sisters, why do they hate the beauty of our bodies? Why do they fear our minds to jail? History teaches us this is not really hard to tell. We must recognize it's no surprise what we're dealing with, my people, where the laws are set, and you can surely bet the Emmett Till case shows that the scales of justice is not equal. The Trayvon Martin case shows that the scales of justice is not equal. The Mike Brown case shows that the scales of justice is not equal. The Irrigation Coroner case shows that the scales of justice is not equal. The Sean Brown case shows that the scales is not equal. We must recognize it's in our eyes the killing of our people. It's genocide and we can't rise, and the killing rate is lethal. The dollar bill robs, steal, and kill. The prey becomes your people. Mother, father, sister, brother, aunt, uncle, niece. You break the rules and you become the beast. Your Frankenstein, you lost your mind to decease becomes your feast. Why should you live by birth to is, and now you break my peace? Will the last man stand and hold down the fort? Will the last man stand and give the ghetto report? Will the last ingenious poet, the ingenious poet, the ingenious poet, and I bleed Baltimore.
Hard-hitting. Mahdi Salaam, the poet laureate from Atlantic City, New Jersey. That's the reason why I brought you here, brother. Because I know that you can give it the way it's supposed to be given. And in the spirit that you give, I'm saying that everybody who saw and heard you give the ghetto report felt what you were saying. Now, my brother, the economic impact. What can we do? And how can we implement the economics of this thing here to make it beneficial for us to perhaps begin to make steps in curtailing this issue that we're facing?
Well, the real area that we have to really educate our people is financial literacy. Financial literacy is a stumbling block in the black community, and it's never fully addressed. You have other ethnic groups that they're learning about the stock market, they're learning about other areas of investment in the 6th grade. And financial literacy will give us a strong footing for our youth.
Yes, sir.
Our youth is the future. In
Absolutely.
some kind of way, we have gotten away from understanding that the youth is our future. And any time that you have a youth that prefer video games, prefer not listening to their parents, prefer sport and play versus education, we have to put our foot down and actually bring our people, our youth, back into the fold. And nutrition, financial literacy, respecting your elders, these are the fundamental things that we have to really work on in a concerted effort so that we won't lose our youth to the foolishness that's out here now. And the solution is, first of all, look at your youth as your future. When you look at yourself, you say, well, how can I help young people in a positive way? Nutrition, financial literacy, respect your elders, and guess what? Also, respect your community.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Well, Brother Daryl and Brother Mahdi Salaam, we've reached the turning point here. We're at the first segment of the Love Zone here at TTSO Studios. And we're going to take a pause for the cause. And we're going to come back and talk a little bit more about the Baltimore situation. And we're going to talk about the economics on how we can impact it and getting down into the nuts and bolts of how to implement this thing. Because you said earlier, trust is an issue. We don't trust anybody.
Trust is an issue, but also education is an issue because our politicians and our people that are at the ground zero portion is supposed to enlighten us are not doing it.
Absolutely. So we're going to come back to the next segment in a statement from Mr. Salaam and Brother Scott. We'll see you too. This is Michael LoveJoi back at the Love Zone here at TTSO Studios with the great urban entrepreneur, Mr. Daryl Scott, and the poet laureate, Mr. Mahdi Salaam. Now we want to talk about some of the things that's impacting our community that people generally don't talk about. And as we were talking during the break, Brother Scott brought up the economic impact of young black men, the market of them dying, and how much money is generated from you dying. Brother Daryl, could you go into that a little bit for us, please?
Sure, I would love to expound on this because this is an area that a lot of people are not aware of, that there's a secondary market out here for body parts. And when you see a lot of these cities, the FBI has had the statistics on black crime, you see that a lot of these youth, when they die, their body is stripped of their body parts. Now, I'm going to give you one case for the sake of time. There was a young man in Georgia. He died mysteriously in the gym. And when they found his body from the medical examiner, it was taken to the mortician, his body parts were stripped, and the paper was put in there.
Was this a young man that was rolled up in the mat?
Yes,
sir.
in the gym.
I heard about that. Yes, sir.
And what happened was he died mysteriously, some kind of way. Even though they had surveillance in the gym area, they never knew what happened to him. And like Brother Michael said, he was rolled up in the mat, and it wasn't deemed homicide or whatever. But when his family got the body back from the medical examiner some kind of way had stuffed his body with newspaper. The mortician identified it, and all his body parts were gone. So that's an ongoing investigation from a couple years ago.
Well, they had an ongoing investigation about racketeering in body parts all through North New Jersey and New York several years ago, with a bunch of people getting caught up in the sting operation in reference to body parts.
I remember that.
So you're saying that our young men are being preyed upon to keep other people alive through the use of their organs?
Yes. The body part market is like the penal system. These are markets that prey on black people. Okay? The penal system preys on young black men, and now the body parts, when they die out the street from gunshot wounds, and they can retrieve their eyes, their heart, their liver, their kidneys, 19 years old, 21 years old, there is do your research. It's a big secondary market out here for the body parts of young blacks.
That's very interesting because it's very disturbing.
Very disturbing.
To know that there's competition out here for your body parts. And not only that, we're doing all of these things to ourselves and to each other.
Yes.
But others are depending on us to do these things to us so that they can profit off of our misery and off of our death.
Very much so.
Yes, sir.
And the only way that you can actually stop this is that word again, education. You have to be able to understand that we're in a situation where we're behind enemy lines. And we have to understand that we have to do everything in our power to fight the things that are happening to us, not only as black people, but as Brother Salaam said, as human beings. Brother Malcolm was before he died, he was going that route to United Nations on the human rights thing, because you can pick up more advocacy, and you can get more people to understand that it's a human rights thing. I mean, you can go from body parts to GMOs, you can go to immigration. I mean, it just goes on and on and on that, it's a very, very bad situation out here, and a lot of people need to be educated that America has taken a turn that, they're putting everything in front of morality, whether it's same-sex marriage, whether it's selling cannabis, other than medicinal use. I mean, you have to sit back and look at all the signs are here, and they're very bad, and we're at the head of the list on the hit list.
Absolutely. Brother Salaam, let me get back to you, as you so passionately just gave us that treatise list on the Ghetto Report. You said the last man standing. Are you the last man standing, sir, on the creative side to give people the skinny on what's really happening to us as a people?
No, I'm not the last man standing. It's just my turn to bring the reminder. There was those before me to bring the reminder. Now it's just my turn to bring the reminder. And that's why I say with the last man standing, dignity and grace, with a smile upon his face. Because if he's the last man standing, for sure, he's going to be standing with a smile upon his face.
Yes.
So that's what I mean by the last man standing.
Well, what was the inspiration for the Ghetto Report?
Well, the inspiration for the Ghetto Report is I feel that was I hold your ground, Lord, stand your ground, Lord. The Ghetto Report, we must stand our ground. And what's going on in America, they feel as though they're standing there. We must collectively hold our ground, stand our ground, and I end it and preserve the black race. That's the solution. We have to preserve the black race. Collectively, we have to come together. We have to preserve us. This is why I have a problem with the black on black killing. The sellouts. We can't be the problem. Because we're already up against so much, but we can't be our own problem. You know?
Yes.
So that's that ghetto report.
Oh,
You know,
absolutely.
we need our beautiful black women involved as well.
Yes.
Our children involved as well. If they really listen to what I'm saying in that ghetto report, there's so many resources in it. I'm combining so many resources. People take time out and really listen to what I'm saying in that report. It is a report of what's going on in our communities with the solution at the end. Preserve the black race.
Absolutely. Brother Daryl, I want to talk about what's going on in Baltimore as far as the federal civil rights program.
Okay.
With the Justice Department potentially coming in to review or to see what's going on in the police department there. Could you give us a little insight as to the new Attorney General who's going to be coming in to possibly look over the police department in Baltimore for reform, so-called reform?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Loretta Lynch is well qualified to handle whatever's coming down the pipe. Baltimore has a history of racism with the police department and the community. Baltimore has 16,000 abandoned buildings. Baltimore has an unemployment rate at 21%. They have a very high incarceration rate. The DOJ has a big job ahead of them. I believe the sister, the Attorney General, State Attorney General, she called it right. She's getting a lot of flack of rush to judgment, but that city is really messed up bad.
Well, the police commissioner, Mr. Batts, he was in Oakland, California.
That's true.
And he came to Baltimore, from what I read, to try to help reform the police department. Well, if you're going to reform something, there must be a problem, right?
Yes.
Now, I'm from Oakland.
Okay.
And Mr. Batts was after my time in Oakland. However, I do know this: they undercutting the budget. They were not allowed. I mean, they weren't able to meet all the demands of answering the crime in Oakland, and they were short-staffed. In fact, officers were doomed to work 12, 16 hours a day, trying to meet the demand on calls for help, But Mr. Batts got a tremendous job to do. Now, some say that he's offering up those officers, in the quest for justice, or to keep the calm, or to keep the unrest settled down. What's your take on that, sir?
Well, my take on that is that basically, first of all, the black officers, they got a pass because they were 3 white officers. Now, the lead white officer is a lieutenant who's already been caught up in domestic violence and threatened to kill himself and his girlfriend. Why he was back working, we can't answer that. But the point is that city, under this Commissioner Batts, has a big issue of racism in the police department. Mr. Gray was arrested for no reason. He ran because of eye contact, but still he wasn't supposed to be arrested just because he ran. And they alleged that he had a switchblade. It was just a regular knife, and little knife, pocket knife. And the whole thing is just bringing light on how the system is very racist, and that race relations are at an all-time low under a black president. You have a black congressman, Elijah Cummings, who I've seen him in action. Seems like he cares, but 16,000 abandoned buildings, 21% unemployment. I don't have the answer, Brother Michael.
Well, it seems as though no one has the answer. But
I just don't understand how you have all these people that are black.
But you said it earlier that education,
yes, sir.
economics,
yes, sir.
is the answer.
Yes, sir.
I heard a brother say that because the young people don't have anything to do. Well, how do you get young people busy? by investing in them.
I heard a young brother say that he's been to carpenter school, and when he finished carpenter school, he tried to get a job, and they told him he was not experienced enough.
Yes, sir. You got something to add about that? Yes, sir. We can get that. Yes, sir. Okay. So you're saying that he went to carpenter school and could not get a job?
He went to carpenter school, vocational school, he's certified, and when he went to apply for a job, they told him he wasn't experienced enough. So this is the kind of shenanigans that they're pulling on those youth. And so of course they're frustrated, they don't know which way to go, and the Congressman Elijah Cummings, who's from West Baltimore, or representing West Baltimore, I thought he was a concerned brother, but now I question his concern, because they need job training, they need entrepreneurship, they need race relations classes. That area need to be totally done over, and hopefully Laureate Lynch, through the DOJ, can get something done positive.
Absolutely wonderful. Brothers and sisters, we're gonna take a pause for the cause, and we're gonna come back with. Welcome back to the Love Zone, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming back to us, and we're so glad to be with you. We have the Urban Entrepreneur once again, Mr. Daryl Scott here, and we're gonna wrap this thing up. Mr. Scott got some bomb dropping to do, and we want to thank the ingenious poet for bringing us the ghetto report, because only Mahdi Salaam can bring it the way he bring it, and we depend on him to bring it that way. Now, Mr. Scott.
Yes, sir.
The solution to some of the ills that we're going through in this particular junction in time, you had said something in reference to possibly scaling back our purchasing and spending habits. Could you elaborate on that, please?
Okay. Before I go with the current situation, I'm gonna put a situation in place to show you that we got over one hurdle, but we didn't get over this next hurdle. 1955, 54, Rosa Parks was tired, and she decided she wasn't going to sit on the bus. Wasn't going to sit in the back of the bus. Got on the bus, I'm sitting up front, and we all know the story. Black people carpooled for 18 months and finally broke the back of the bus company, and was one of the highlights of the civil rights movement.
And taxi businesses were born.
Now, here's the part that wasn't finished. Civil rights was about not going in the balcony of a movie theater, not sitting in the back of the bus, not being taken care of in the hospital. But 2015, what we have to look at is we have to buy the hospital. We have enough money.
Yes,
We have to buy the bus line.
yes, sir.
We have to become owners, not consumers. Now, what I was discussing with Brother Michael was possibly we may have to look at December 2015 Christmas as a boycott, because anybody can understand that in America, it's not a country. America's a business. And until you get to the bottom line of the dollar line, you're not going to get any real results with killing our people, mainly our youth, destroying the minds of our youth, having our people distracted. The only way you're going to get the attention of the politicians and the power brokers is boycotting Walmart, boycotting McDonald's, Target, and other Fortune 500 companies.
So you're saying you got to hit them in the pocket?
You gotta hit them in the pocket, you gotta be sincere, you gotta be saying, are you really for the struggle of making a concerted change, or you just going with lip service and they're gonna do a federal commission on race relations and nothing's gonna come about it? You want a real solution, you start boycotting these Fortune 500 companies, and then you have a buffer to represent you.
Absolutely. Now, I have a suggestion. We can perhaps exhort the people to put down malt liquor. You know,
Yes. Yes.
put down Nike,
That's been out there before.
hit Adidas.
That's been out there before.
You know, all the Timberland shoes.
That's been out there
Stop buying
before.
Cadillacs. Hello? I mean the big ticket items.
The big ticket items, you can do that, but like I said, what you're saying is true because it's been tried before, but it's never been tried on Christmas. Now it's only May. You have time to really think about it. It's in a concerted effort.
Absolutely.
You have time, like we're trying to do, get the word out. Say, let's be serious about actually dealing with this race relation problem, and let's start with economics.
Absolutely.
So that's my solution
Yes, sir.
to the murdering of our youth, to the disrespect of our people, the disrespect of our people. I mean, you had every ethnic group putting a store in our community and not respecting us. The highest amount of money exchange is the Jewish community. Their money goes around 18 times. After that, it's the Asian community. Their money goes around 13, 14 times. Then it's the Latino community. They go about around maybe 8 to 10 times. And then when you get down to blacks, it's 0. As soon as we get money, we go to a Fortune 500 company and spend our money. So they're used to us just talking and just spending our money with them. So the real solution to the race problem in 2015 in America is a boycott of your Fortune 500 stores on Christmas. Then you're going to get some real results.
Well, the profits are determined from the sales of Christmas, from the day after Thanksgiving
Yes.
until the day after Christmas.
Yes.
And then determines the profit margin from then on through the new year. Am I correct?
Christmas is almost about 1/3 of the year.
Yes, sir.
What they do on Christmas is about 1/3. So that's strong. That's 33% of their profit is that one day.
Yes.
Everything leading up to that December 25th.
Yes, yes.
We could actually change this whole paradigm by peaceful but strategic boycotting of your Fortune 500 stores on December 2015.
Now, some of the items that we just named, Nike,
Yes.
Adidas, malt liquor,
Yes.
cigarettes,
Yes.
dropping some of the how would I say, some of the vices,
Good work.
it would be a tremendous impact.
Yes.
And they will be hurting for the scavenging industry,
Yes.
such as shrimp and lobster.
Yes.
You shouldn't be eating that crap anyway.
Right.
You know, pork. For those who like bacon on bacon bits in their salads, you know, cut it out. You know, slack up on eating pork. Slack up on drinking Miller Lite. Slack up on drinking Budweiser. And all these people depend on the dollar coming into their coffers, and it never returns back.
Yes, sir.
So I'd like to ask you, Mr. Scott, as we begin to wrap up here in the Love Zone, because we got to come back and talk about initiating this thing.
Yes.
But I'd like to enter into an agreement with you
Yes.
today on perhaps spearheading
Yes.
a boycott locally.
Now, that's where I do like this. This has to be done in a strategic format
Absolutely.
because you have so many people that are used to spending their money in a non-strategic manner.
Yes, sir.
So you would have to sit down, almost give them a seminar on how your money is not respected. Like I said earlier in the conversation, 2013, the numbers in $1,400,000,000,000. That's almost $2 trillion that was spent in the black community outside. Walmart, Target, McDonald's, those particular Fortune 500 companies count on our money. It could be a total game changer to say we're not going to patronize those Fortune 500 companies because we're not respected as a people, then our consumption is not respected. So it's something that I feel would have to be done in a strategic format, and I don't think right now with the problems that Atlantic City's having with that one industry, it's not the right time. That's my feeling.
Oh, yes, sir. We understand the feeling of the urban entrepreneur because the urban entrepreneur has been on the landscape for how many years?
Well, I do my homework.
Yes, sir. You do your
I do
homework.
my homework.
Yes, sir. Reading, writing, and arithmetic. Is that what you do?
Yes.
Have mercy.
I
That's
do
what
my
we're
homework.
talking about.
I do my homework.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, right now we are going to enter into an agreement to strategically
Yes, sir.
discuss how to impact our area, impact the nation with this this protocol that we're trying to get initiated here. We have to make an impact to change the reality of the landscape under which we live. And economics
It's the key.
is the key. So, saying here from the LoveZone, once again here at TTS Soul Studios, we have the Urban Entrepreneur here with us. Thank you, Daryl, for coming out. Thank you for us this afternoon. And sitting with Brother Mahdi Salaam. And remember, together we can solve any issues. This is my LoveJoi.